Okay, so we've now cleaned up our subs. I've done both of them because I had the second one. Got our dust caps prepped. Our gaskets are done. I will look at the shimming arrangements for this in a minute, but I just want to say Simply Speakers in the US. Now their website is simplyspeakers.com. They have been fantastic. The reason I like buying off these guys is Sean and the team there, you know, this order was probably only $100 because I bought a whole bunch of different foams to try as surrounds because they weren't quite accurate. But you know, there's a fair bit of time spent on the email. There's a real enthusiasm when you talk to them about trying to solve a problem, and they're really helpful with clarifying dimensions and providing some really good advice. So that's why I go to these guys. Yes, the freight is a little bit expensive to get from the US, but it's worth it. Good customer service. They also give you enough glue to do about 3,000 subwoofers, so fantastic. So what I've got is, I bought 3 types of surrounds. Now these are their heavy duty foam surrounds. You can see the actual foam suspension is quite high and wide. The outer gasket thickness here is actually pretty good, and the inner one as well, to fit on the cone, but I think that's too big for what I need given the old measurements. But as I said to you, I couldn't quite get the exact same gasket. I'm really close, but I bought these ones just to try it, and maybe not on these ones but on another 15 I have to do. The other 2, this is more the genuine surround, so as you can see it's quite a narrow lift on the suspension, but it's still not quite as heavy as what the original one was. And when I put it on, the problem is the inner diameter, or the diameter of as the cone comes up before it has the flat lip. The lip is only about 5 to 7 mil. That inner diameter of the actual cone width itself is too, for the gasket is too wide, so it sits slightly out, so you only would ever glue half the width onto that lip, so you might only get 3 mil of adhesive around there. And the outer gasket's a bit short, but it's close. But then I found these ones, which are a JL15 surround from back in the day, and I'm pretty confident these are going to be the closest ones. So slightly, actually the foam lift on this is pretty close. The inner diameter is actually correct, or very close to it, and the outer diameter is so-so. So what I'm going to do is have a look at these fitting and pick which one I think is going to work, and then we'll glue them together. So the first surround we got is this. Now it has a very good on the outer diameter. The inner diameter looks like the gasket's actually too large. You see there's a bit of overhang here, and the actual roll here is a little bit narrow. Easiest way to determine is to flip it, and you can see it's not, even when you press the cone up, it's not going to sit on that lip of the cone. Now you could squeeze it around and glue it on, but that's not quite right, is it? So that was the first one. The second type we got were these very beefy ones. Now they look great. You go, oh, that's fantastic. Fits perfectly. It actually is perfect on the outer diameter. It's very nice on the roll, but you can see here that this actually would be gluing to the angle on the cone and not the lip. Now, you know what? In lieu of finding the perfect gasket, you could probably just glue that down. I don't think it'd be very good. Flip it over. You can see it's far too narrow. You can't even get the cone up there. That would reduce your effective cone area, and then really you wouldn't have a 15-inch sub anymore, would you? So our final gaskets are these JL ones now, not quite as wide on the outer basket, on the gasket, sorry. So the overall diameter is not as large as what it could be, but you've still got a full mating surface on the basket material. The roll is good. That will glue to the lip of the speaker. If you just push it up, move it around, you can see that that would glue down perfectly for what we've got. So that is what I'm going to use. The only problem I can see is trying to glue that this way. I've seen videos where people spin the subs and they're gluing and it's just, you know, it looks really easy, but me, I think I will find this to be a bit of a challenge. What I might do is glue a portion of it, and then another portion, and then another portion, so I don't have a full thing of glue around at any one time, and then struggle to get it to fit. Suddenly the glue tacks up and I can't move the surround. That's the way I'm going to do it. Before I glue the surround on, I am going to shim with these plastic shims just to stop the movement. So I've cut these to size, slide them between the magnet here and the coil. So we know that that now is centered. Okay, so it's cleaned up okay. It's not perfect by any means. I'm really disappointed with the way the glue came out around here. What I might do on the next one is not bring the glue so far forward, but we'll see how we go. I'll now glue the outside on to the gasket, to the basket, leave the shims in, and then we will put our gasket in place. So I'm just going to lift this up and glue. And it's doing the same thing. As soon as the glue hits the gasket, the foam is kind of swelling up. I'm really glad I've got shims in here because I just, not confident at all. Okay, moment of truth. Let's take the shims out and see how centered our speaker is. Wow. I'm pressing on that one way, which is forcing it over, but if I just do it like that, that is spot on. So the only thing left to do on this speaker is to put the dust cap back on. This is going to be messy as well, I can feel it. What I might do is put some blue tack or something on here so I can actually lower this down in the right position. And I'm going to center the logo to one of these dots here. So I think I will put glue on the dust cap, lower it down into position, and then just run my finger around one time and walk away. Okay, so I'm just pressing the edges down a little bit on the dust cap, because as you can see it's to suit the profile of the cone. Lining up the logo, bit of glue on the top, fantastic. Alright, well, what are the lessons learned from putting on new surrounds on these subs? I think for myself, the lessons that I've learned are the gluing process is probably the most challenging, and it ended up being a little bit messy. So aesthetically, these look a little bit messy. It's more so the glue around the dust cap, and I think getting that dust cap off was so difficult that when they're being put back on, they just doesn't look quite right. However, from a functionality point of view, performance point of view, they are as new. They work well, they're centered, there's no issues. I've had them on for 2 or 3 days, just running test tones through them, and they're going to perform fantastically. So a hot tip, I think, would be if you're going to do your own refoaming, putting on new surrounds, have a crack at a subwoofer that you probably don't have so much sentimental attachment to. So if I would do things differently next time, I would probably not start with this sub. I would start with something a bit cheaper and just have a go at getting the gluing process right. Having said that, I'm still happy with these. I will probably end up making my own dust caps, taking these ones off and putting on a different dust cap with the Punch logo on and doing a little bit neater. But apart from that, I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the fact that they actually function after 30 years. These subs are sat in a box for 30 years, so it's about time to put them in enclosure and put them to work. So I guess the purpose of the video is just to take you through the refoaming process. I wanted to demonstrate that perhaps it's not quite as straightforward as what you see in a lot of other videos, and also show you some of the failings that I had with respect to choosing the surrounds and getting the gluing right and getting a dust cap off, and share those lessons learned so that when you go to do it, you're a little bit more, I guess, educated prior to starting the process. So you know, okay, I might need to take a little bit more time there. But yeah, on to another set of speakers. I think I have about 15 subs left to go, so I should be right after them. Stay tuned, thanks for watching, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, and see you next time.